NBA Today.
Breaking news out of Los Angeles. The Clippers and the Raptors are seriously engaged in trade talks for all NBA forward Kawhi Leonard, coming off a career year in which he averaged nearly 28 points and played 65 regular season games. As we go back to our senior insider, Shams Charania, what more can you tell us about Kawhi possibly going back to Toronto, where he won a title with the Raptors in 2019?
Hannah, I'm told these talks are serious between Toronto and the Clippers about Kawhi Leonard going back to the Six, going back to the North with the Raptors. Remember, he won that 2019 championship there, Finals MVP, his second Finals MVP. There's a familiarity with that Raptors organization, but even more so, the Toronto Raptors have emerged as the only team Kawhi Leonard will commit to a long-term extension to if he is traded out of LA. There have been multiple teams that have been circling around Kawhi Leonard, expressing interest and bringing a potential optionality of having a long-term extension, but he has not shown any interest in playing anywhere outside of Toronto if he is traded out of LA. That's at the crux of this. Kawhi Leonard has 1 year, about $50 million left on his deal. As of right now, the Clippers have shown no commitment, no desire to give him an extension. And so he's looking on potentially to Toronto. And so these two sides are engaged. We'll see where these conversations go over the next 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, I know you've also just reported that Bradley Beal, by the way, is opting out of his deal. Shams, we'll be back with you again. Sit tight. Let's go to Big Perk here. How do you like this, a potential Kawhi return to Toronto?
Oh, I love it. And by the way, the Clippers should want this, right? The Kawhi, let's be real here. The Kawhi Leonard to the Clippers has been one of the biggest disappointments in NBA history. He actually set that franchise back when he arrived, not moved them forward. So let's get that out the way. Kawhi Leonard back in Toronto, playing alongside, possibly would it be Scotty Barnes? Scotty Barnes has become one of a top 15, top 20 player in this league. And now Kawhi Leonard is going back to the Eastern Conference, where he has broken up a lot of happy homes, has dominated that conference. He dominated that conference in one single season. And so when you think about the love that he's going to get, him being familiar with that organization, the fan base, and I know Masai Ujiri is not there, but they have a nice young coach in Darko that's going to speak his language. And Brandon Ingram disappeared this past postseason. So that's a void that needs to be filled. With the young core that they have, along with Scotty Barnes, if I'm Kawhi, I'm trying to get back to the Six as well. I know Drake will love it.
Yeah, he sure would. All right, let's see as Ramona's busy on her phone. Love the Drake line. Always got it. We just can't separate the two, can we? Bobby, what would this trade look like, my friend?
Yeah, so we're looking at math here. So when you look at, certainly with Kawhi Leonard, he's got 1 year left on his contract. If he's traded, he's eligible to sign a 2-year, $124 million extension with the Toronto Raptors. It would have to be Brandon Ingram, who's got 2 years left as a player option here. And then to make the math work, it would be Grady Dick. Now, here's where we're kind of in a little bit of a snag. Draft picks. Toronto's got 4 first-round picks to trade. And if you're the Clippers, you would certainly probably want 2027, 2029, and 2031. That is awfully rich. If I'm Toronto, I'm probably only offering 2. That deal works as far as from a financial standpoint. Leonard to Toronto, Ingram, Grady Dick, and 3 firsts to the Los Angeles Clippers. You're basically turning an expiring contract into 3 picks.
Wow. Ramona, I just want to underline something that Shams was saying, and for practical reasons as well, for money reasons, but Kawhi back in Toronto. Yeah. Is that something he would welcome?
Yeah,
it
listen,
seems like
from
it
what
is.
I understand, Kawhi is comfortable going back to places he's been comfortable before, okay? He's been very comfortable in Toronto. There's a guy named Alex McKechnie who runs their performance there, and he managed him the entire season with all the load managing and all the injuries he had, all the way to a championship. He's very comfortable with the Raptors organization, and he didn't burn any bridges. He never promised them anything. He always was clear about where he was thinking about going to Los Angeles. I think he would also be comfortable playing for the guy that he used to play for in Toronto, Masai Ujiri, in Dallas. But I think and in San Antonio, although I think those bridges are more burned. But the real traction here is with Toronto, and let's talk about the Clippers a bit. They love Kawhi Leonard. I think they would love to have him on their team this year. It's going to take a huge offer to get them to listen on Kawhi or to get them to even part with him. But he's old enough that they can't think about doing an extension. They've obviously been turning into a youth movement already. So I think we're at the stage now where if they want to do right by him and he wants to go there, I think they would.
Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, it would be a wonderful story if he went back to Toronto. Yeah. Also, you get paid money.
That's the thing,
because
right?
That's also a factor here. The Clippers are not willing to commit right now. It looks like the Raptors, especially if they're going to pay this kind of price that Bobby is just describing. Good God. I mean, I can't believe they give him that much money, Bobby. That's the max they could give him.
Well, Brian, remember,
Bobby,
too, is that he had signed a 3-year, $150. Usually, when you're doing extensions, it's not what it's based on what the past was. It's not what the future. You have an aging player here. Are you going to commit $60 million per year for a player who's he just turned
35.
Today's birthday?
Today.
Yeah, well, he just turned 35. That's paying above the premium there.
I will say that he's had a year and a half of great basketball.
Yeah, 65 games
and the Raptors being able to pull this off would elevate them without question. I just want to point something out about the Clippers. If the Clippers do this deal, okay, the Bradley Beal,
opting out of his deal.
Me too.
Right?
That's what my phone's going on about now.
Okay.
So Bobby, stick with me. The Clippers have.
Don't go anywhere, Bobby.
The Clippers have 3 non-guaranteed contracts to some veteran players. Nick Batum, Bogdan Bogdanovic. Who am I forgetting, Bobby?
Brook Lopez.
It's possible that they don't owe any of those guys. You add in Bradley Beal, who's now opted out. That's clearing off $60 million in cap space. If they do this deal for Kawhi, they potentially become a cap space that could be active in free agency in the next 24.
Right, because wasn't that like cap space or run it back was kind of the dilemma, right?
Not that you're going to replace Kawhi.
Right.
But the Clippers have been hopelessly over the cap for a decade. Since they got Kawhi, this is an interesting set of circumstances the Clippers are opening up for them.
Bobby,
I will just say this. Knowing Bradley Beal's agent, Mark Bartelstein, for a long time, you're not leaving $5.5 million on the table unless there's something else coming back. So you can decline the option. They can go out and use cap space, and then they can use the room and level to bring back Bradley Beal.
All right, coming up.
Now, Leonard, he says, will only sign an extension with the Raptors. Kawhi, we know, is coming off one of the best seasons he's had of his career. Talk to me about why the Clippers all of a sudden now have decided to move on from Kawhi.
Well, how about the irony? 7 years ago, Kawhi Leonard left Toronto to go to the Los Angeles Clippers, and now he has certainly put the Raptors on his wish list here. I think when you look at it, certainly from the Clippers' perspective, they've gotten younger. It started at the trade deadline with the James Harden for Darius Garland trade. They've gone youth with Keaton Wagler. I think for Toronto, they're in this kind of in-between spot. They were in the playoffs this year. They lose in the first round. They can go out and make a big swing for Kawhi Leonard. They've got draft equity. The Brandon Ingram contract would be something to keep an eye on here. But it's a move that is not just for this year. Certainly Kawhi Leonard is extension eligible for $124 million. So it certainly would be a long-term fit.
Okay. How about this one? Shams Charania also saying that Andrew Wiggins intends to sign a 3-year, $64 million contract to stay with the team. Takes care of really one of those uncertainty members there on the roster in Miami after, they made the trade for Giannis. So with Wiggins back in the fold, Bobby, what's left for the Heat to do to round out that roster around Giannis?
Well, Wiggins was important because, Brian, they're going to likely lose Norman Powell to free agency just based on where they are financially. Now, we're dealing with these